How do you manage your customer feedback?
Even we were very keen on regarding exploitation of labor because 140 people
What is one customer experience?
traveled almost 3 months.
Find it very interesting. Can you get me menu? So
But
Sampradayani,
yeah,
and all of it. I mean, what's the most popular item?
anyone comes on the table.
I've tried it out.
Another thing,
I have one candid question. It's about service fee.
so this is coming.
Do you think customer preferences change?
So new dishes is something that helps us in customer retention.
One item out of your menu, would you prefer to eat daily?
Every time I go on international trip or normal even to Goa for 4-5 days, I
Okay.
come back. The first dish I would be ordering is
Discounting strategy. Do you think it's really viable and sustainable in the long run?
10%.
So how do you manage the wastage?
Waste is not going waste.
Hi, this is Rajesh Sukamanchi from Clubr. So we are actually starting a new series called Clubr Pod, wherein we will discuss about live music venues and F&B venues and discuss with every stakeholder and what goes beyond their own story of how they create their incredible experiences for their day-to-day customers. We have Harish here. Thank you, Harish, for coming here and joining us.
Thanks, Rajesh, for the invite.
Yeah, if you can tell me about yourself and how you got into this business, that will be really insightful for the audience.
Hi, this is Harish Reddy, one of the co-founders at AnTeRa Kitchen and Bar, which is one of the most popular restaurants in Hyderabad today. So my journey to F&B is more accidental, I would say, rather than something very deliberate or planned. Uh, so I was working as a data scientist. I was in the IT sector for almost working for 2.5 years. Then realized that entrepreneurship is my thing, and so quit my job. So as I quit my job, I've taken like 2 opportunities, and one of them was AnTeRa, and as AnTeRa clicked,
Okay.
so I have taken it up full time.
Yeah, it's quite a success. Basically, you've recently grown within a short span of time
Yes,
and growing quite aggressively.
yes.
So, why did you get into Telugu cuisine, especially when you had? And how do you get into it? What's the story behind it?
So we opened. AnTeRa was opened in 2021, July 2021.
Yeah, I think
Just
post-COVID.
after the
Yeah,
COVID.
yeah,
Just after the COVID, after the second lockdown,
yes,
second wave.
correct.
So there was an opportunity. One of our family friends, they were running a pub before, which was shut down. So they wanted to convert that into a Telugu restaurant.
Okay.
So by then, Telangana Space Kitchen and Krishnapatnam both were a success.
Okay.
So we also realized that the time was right for not just for a Telugu restaurant without alcohol, but Telugu restaurant with alcohol.
Okay.
The alcohol acceptance also has increased.
Mhm.
So right then we realized, yes, this and being in Jubilee Hills, we realized that is the right location.
Okay.
So everything came together, and so we said yes to the opportunity. My wife and I, we entered as a fourth partner,
Okay.
and yes, rest is history.
Yeah. So, I mean, you guys were new to this industry, right? So,
Yes.
did you face any challenges? What are the starting challenges that you faced, and how did you overcome them?
Too many challenges, I would say. So as a newbie, I only focused. I mean, always been drawing parallels between film industry and the F&B somehow. I don't know how I arrived at it, but
Okay.
somehow accidentally I started doing that.
Mhm.
So I started drawing differences between when I observed at a restaurant, I used to look at it as a drama or a critically acclaimed one or a commercially hit one.
Okay.
So so what are the elements that are commercially hit one? So generally they generally go behind the elevations or the entertainment, more of an entertainment angle
Mhm.
rather than something of a very solid story and something coming from very where only very few people like it.
Okay.
So we are building upon this idea. So I was always focused on the taste. I always used to tell my partners that it's always about the taste. Because I was not very experienced in, so that was the first one.
Yeah.
So did not focus much on the service part, to be honest.
Mhm.
So, but by the time we opened, the taste was up to the mark.
Okay.
Then realized service is again a very big challenge.
Yeah.
So creating dish is one thing,
Mm.
and ensuring that the dish has the same taste on a day-to-day basis,
Mhm.
and it is served on that particular taste of that particular heat with that particular warmth on the table is also another thing.
Mhm.
So for this, the lot of back end, like there's a lot of there are too many people involved.
Correct.
So everyone has to be happy.
Mhm.
So however it is, right from, for example, if at all the dish has to, the customer has to be happy.
Mhm.
The dish has to be the dish has to taste good,
Mhm.
and also the customer, I mean, the dish also should be served in the right way so the customer feels happy.
Yeah, exactly. Plated.
These are two things.
Yeah.
So, but for the dish to be in the right taste and right flavor,
Mhm.
it will be changing like 8 to 9 people's hands.
Okay.
So all the people have to do their job in the right way.
Okay. Mhm.
So how do I ensure that? Was my biggest challenge.
Okay. Okay. How did you overcome it?
It took me at least 4 or 5 months to realize that.
Uh-huh.
So then I realized, initially I thought, chefs, once they crack the taste, they keep continue doing that.
Okay.
But that is not the thing.
Mhm.
Even when we cook or you cook, someone cooks,
Mhm.
one day that the dish will taste of a good taste, and probably the next day you might not achieve the same taste.
Mhm.
So for that, see, we have put checklists,
Okay.
tasting checklists.
Okay. Okay.
So tasting checklist, we have some details as an in-depth details.
Mhm.
Say for example, sambar rice. Say if at all we take sambar rice.
Mhm.
Sambar rice, the spice has to be correct. The
Mhm.
tanginess has to be balanced.
Mhm.
Okay, and even the tadka on it has to be appropriate.
Okay.
So if any of this is missing, then the dish output won't be good.
Yeah, you've standardized
Generally,
basically.
yeah, generally see, tasting good or bad is not, it's very straightforward. Is
Mhm.
good or bad, everyone has their own opinion.
Correct.
But I've realized that you need to have more details in the
Mhm.
tasting checklist.
Okay.
So the chef exactly looks for those details while he's tasting it.
Okay. Okay. Mhm.
So
So, according to what worked for you? I mean, if you go back and look at it when you started in 2021, I think you've seen instant success instantly the moment you opened it. So, what according to you has clicked for you exactly?
I think I would say luck has favored to a good extent because coming from a non-F&B
Mm-hmm.
and seeing such a huge success in our first one
Mm-hmm.
is not a small thing. If
Yeah.
at all I look back at things,
Correct. Mm-hmm.
then probably we're just going with the flow.
Mm-hmm.
This is how it has to be done. So we were having, my wife, she has played a major role in the interiors.
Mm-hmm.
And the location was also right spot on,
Mm-hmm.
it being in the center of the city.
Mm-hmm.
That has helped us a lot.
Okay.
I think having the right location and the right ambience and the right product by the time we launched.
Mm-hmm.
And people were also in the right mode to spend because after COVID, the
Yeah.
F&B spending has increased.
Yeah, that was the right time where everyone was actually doing well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Everyone's almost in their homes for almost
Correct.
1.5 years.
Correct.
So everyone wanted to go out, and that was a growth in F&B industry. So everything, all these four factors, I would say, came together.
Yeah.
Very well.
Yeah. What is success according to you, Harish? I mean, you've seen a lot of success instantly. So if you can define that, I mean, elaborate on that, it will be helpful.
So the first moment of success, would be, where I was amazed at the way people were waiting for 1.5 hours to have their lunch.
Oh.
So this has been happening for almost in the first 1 year of our launch. So this was a regular for Sunday lunch.
Okay.
So there were many people who used to come, give their name, and they used to roam around the cable bridge, and they used to come back. So this is a story that was told by my managers.
Okay.
At least 20-30 people every weekend who used to do this.
Okay.
So that's the moment when I realized. So people are wanting to wait for 90 minutes to have your food is something that was filled with great pleasure.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, I would want to understand how the menu got engineered and what's the story behind it, and how did you ensure that these products should be in the menu. So, if you can elaborate more on that, that will be really insightful for us.
Actually, having the name AnTeRa
Mhm.
has helped us a lot in
Okay.
engineering the menu.
Okay.
So we try to maintain the balance between all the three regions.
Mhm.
So yeah, so initially when we started off with the menu, so we had more Andhra because most of the restaurants are Andhra dominant. So we had more Andhra dominant restaurants before opening.
Mhm.
Then we realized, then we slowly introduced Telanganas, when we also introduced Rayalaseemas, and we tried to create the balance.
Mhm.
And at a later point of time, we also realized that there are people with multiple palates.
Hmm.
Some people like it spicy.
Hmm.
For example, take kids, they like it more yummier, which
Yes.
has more cream.
Correct.
Some people like it to be balanced.
Hmm.
And yes, some people want it more fried and all.
Mhm.
So we try to keep the balance so that almost good diverse set of audience are satisfied.
Mhm.
So whenever we thought some dishes are less, then we increase them.
Mhm.
Yes.
So, according to you, do you think having a lot of menu items is helpful, or having a limited menu and focusing on that limited spread is ideal for a restaurant?
For us, having the limited spread and the right spread, right
Mhm.
appropriate spread has helped us a lot. Because
Okay.
good number of restaurants have very huge spread.
Mhm.
So right spread is something I would strongly suggest.
Okay.
And another thing I want to mention here is we as a Telugu audience have always been used to having tandoor, Chinese or North
Correct.
Indian dishes when we go out.
Correct.
So not just Telugu items, we also incorporate tandoor, Chinese and North Indian dishes in our menu.
Okay.
So because whenever people go out, these
Yeah.
are the regular items that they generally order.
Yeah. You want to strike a balance between both of
Yes, between both of them.
Okay.
Introducing new items
Mhm.
which remind them of their home or like some past experience
them. Mhm.
of a very tasty food
Mhm.
or something also on the usual side,
Okay.
what they expect when they go out.
Okay. So you mentioned about balancing the palate, like
Mhm.
spicy, moderate, and medium,
Mhm.
right? So how do you actually ensure that a user who's actually ordering something
Mhm.
knows about it, and how do you balance it out? Can you tell more about it?
So we train our staff.
Okay.
We train our staff and also on the menu we have indications.
Okay. Okay.
For spicy items, we have the spicy mirchi symbol indication.
Okay. That's how.
Yeah, that's how. And also we clearly mention as a note that some of the items can be altered to their spice levels.
Mhm.
Some customer asks the captain to get it at a moderate level. Then we keep it in our comments
Mhm. Mhm.
comment section while ordering the item itself.
Okay.
So
Okay.
then that is communicated to the kitchen team and they do it accordingly.
Mhm. Mhm. And what is the one item out of your menu would you prefer to eat daily, and you will never get bored of it?
Okay, Pappannam.
Okay.
That's my comfort food. That's my go-to food.
Okay.
And every time I go on international trip or
Mhm.
normal even to Goa for
Mhm.
4-5 days, I
Okay.
come back.
Mhm.
The first dish I would be ordering is that. From my restaurant, I have it. Then my, probably my tummy would be satisfied then.
Okay, okay. Yeah, that's the most satisfying actually.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
It has everything. It has
Mhm.
spice, it has ghee, it has that yumminess.
Mhm.
Don't have to chew it. The rice is very sticky.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, and one aspect is how do you actually price the menu? I mean, you've actually decided that these are the menu items that I've started focusing on.
right.
Once you decided, how do you actually price it?
So there are two kinds of items. One kind of item would be the kind of items which are available everywhere.
Mhm.
So generally people tend to compare your price only for the items that are available everywhere,
Okay, okay.
but not all the items.
Mhm.
For the items that are only at our restaurant,
Mhm.
we have slight freedom
Okay.
to even price it a little bit higher
Mhm.
because people do not have a bar line to exactly gauge it.
Mhm. Yeah. So, I mean, let's assume you fixed a menu
Yes,
pricing,
yes,
and then there is a lot of times fluctuations in the sourcing aspect of it.
correct, correct, correct.
And then how do you maintain this aspect of even if there is a item like onions, which
Right,
actually spike real time
right, right,
very significantly? How do
right.
you ensure that you are not changing the price menu? Do you go back and change the pricing in menu?
We do not
Okay. How do you
because
maintain it then?
to be honest, in the costing aspect, when we come to the food costing aspect,
Mhm.
the vegetables or the raw materials, only the meat plays a major role. Meat
Okay.
and the ghee.
Okay.
So these prices are more or less consistent,
Okay.
except when you have some flu or something.
Mhm. Mhm.
Except for these are more or less consistent.
Okay.
The other onions, vegetables, they constitute less than 15-20%.
Mhm.
Even if there is an increase in the vegetable prices,
Mhm.
it would increase by only 3-4 rupees, which wouldn't affect us,
Yeah. Yeah.
affect the operations.
Yeah. So I have one critical question for you.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I've seen your menu and then find it very interesting in
Uh.
terms of it. Can you get me menu? So I'm looking at your mocktail menu,
Uh-huh.
and I see some interesting names here,
Uh-huh.
like Hit Me Hard, yeah,
Yeah.
Poker Glass,
Ichipa.
Sampradayani,
Yeah.
yeah, and all of it. I mean, what goes beyond it? I mean, how did you come up with these funny names?
Interesting story actually behind this.
Mhm.
And before going on how we came about it, that the names that we have come up with has helped us a lot in marketing.
Oh, is it?
Yes, yes.
Mhm.
So we were tasting the cocktails actually. Right when we were tasting the cocktails,
Mm.
3-4 days of before opening the first branch.
Mhm.
So we were having this conversation.
Mhm.
Suddenly, my manager came up and said that, sir, there is a name. Why don't you name some Sundari?
Okay.
So then we caught up from there.
Okay. Okay.
So for one, we named it Sundari.
Mhm.
Name for one, we named it Fasak.
Very interesting name. I've seen it.
So
And
for another one, we named it Taggedele.
Mhm.
Taggedele, the right then was Chandrababu Naidu's dialogue.
Okay. Okay.
Taggedeledu.
Mhm.
So we named it Taggedeledu.
Mhm.
So and as we tasted, we found like as we tasted it, whatever meme striked us like after tasting it.
Okay.
We tried to put that name.
Okay. Okay.
So and it was received wonderfully well.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, yeah. There were too many memes.
Mhm.
So it has helped us in making our making our marketing or grow exponentially,
Mhm.
getting a customer base.
Yeah. And coming back to your menu items,
Yes.
if let's assume I have a critical lot of people. We've heard that nowadays there's no comparison between the pricing of the menu to portion sizes. A lot of restaurants have actually significantly reduced the portion sizes,
True, true,
even if the pricing is significantly higher for what we're paying
true.
for it. So how do you reflect on this?
I would again see different cuisines. People have different price levels in their mind
Mhm.
for different cuisines.
Mhm.
Being a Telugu cuisine, it automatically is a price sensitive market.
Yeah,
We cannot go beyond a certain level.
correct.
For Italian or continental,
Mhm.
based on the kind of ambience we have, we can go beyond a certain level and price it, and customer will experience it as per his own standards.
Hmm.
But for Telugu, wherever you are, like the pricing standard is more or less in a very the range is very less. You
Correct.
cannot go beyond a certain level.
Correct, correct.
So that was a challenge, definitely.
Mhm.
But yes, I think we whatever the market appropriate price was,
Mhm.
we just got an idea from the market and what were people sensitive to. For example, biryani.
Mhm.
So even though we had a higher costing, we didn't price it higher because
Okay.
it's a usual dish.
Okay.
So we ensured that the price customer doesn't feel the price pinch.
Mhm. 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 Yeah. So I mean, I've gone to some restaurants recently.
Uh-huh.
If you're going to premium restaurants, you are you know for sure that the portion size is limited.
Yes, yes.
But nowadays, most of the restaurants, even on a fine dines, if you
Right.
call it, so they also started giving smaller portions where it's not even sufficient for two people and all. So
So
that
we have always
yeah.
been on that
Mhm.
quantity because people see for us we have always built the product on a
Mhm.
imagining the mass,
Correct.
not very few people coming in.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a casual dining restaurant.
Correct, correct.
So whenever you have to hit the numbers, the quantity matters a lot.
Correct.
And in
Exactly.
Hyderabad, compared to any other city, the portion sizes are much higher.
Is it?
Yeah.
Mhm.
In Bangalore, for a standard biryani, the full plate biryani, he would be serving somewhere around 700 to 750 ml.
Mhm.
In Hyderabad, it is 900 to 1 liter.
Oh, okay.
Anywhere we go.
Mhm.
So that's the standard. That is what people got used to.
Yes,
If you
exactly.
serve the portion size is less, then people they will have a problem.
Mhm.
So we have seen a good amount of waste
Mhm.
because of that.
Mhm.
But at the same time, we didn't have complaints where the quantity is less compared
Mhm.
to the price one.
Okay, okay. Mhm. Yeah. And what is one customer experience I mean, I'll go back to your question of, I mean, you had a lot of success. For you, success is all about customer experience.
Mm-hmm.
What is one customer experience where you felt that, I mean, you are blown out from that?
There was this one customer from Vijayawada
Mhm.
who traveled almost 3 months.
3 months.
3 months, 3 times. 3 times in 3 months.
Oh, he came all the way from
Came
there.
all the way from Vijayawada to have the food and just go back.
Oh, have given a discount or waive the bill.
Would be glad to give him a discount, but yeah, obviously. I mean, so I mean, really shocked that people would travel so long and put in so much,
Mhm.
give us so much love and even surprise as well. This is a surprise.
Yeah,
I would travel someone for 6 hours just
Correct,
to have
correct.
come here for
Correct.
have the food,
Mhm.
stay in Hyderabad for another 1-2 hours and just go back.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yes.
So, I mean, how often do you actually go back and change the menu? I mean, once you've designed a menu,
Yes. Yes.
at what point do you think you have to make additions or change it completely?
Oh, I'd say once in 2-3 months.
Okay, is that fast?
Once in 3 months.
Okay,
See, we bring in at least 3-4 dishes every 3 months. I would
okay,
say. So whenever we change, we incorporate 3 to 4 dishes.
okay.
We remove like whichever are not running well,
Mhm.
and we in place of them we get 3, 4 or 4 or 5.
Okay.
So yes, so
Yeah,
every
it's a
3 months I would
constant
say.
process.
Yeah, that's a constant process,
Okay, okay.
and that's a learning for us as well
Mhm,
in a way,
mhm,
because we also understand what are the customer palettes exactly.
mhm, mhm.
So that's sort of an experimentation, I would call it.
Okay.
So
What's
that way
a
we were able to,
yeah,
that
no
way we were able to decode what exactly the customer likes.
okay.
So what is he exactly looking for?
Mhm,
So
mhm.
with next time when we introduce the new items, we tend to think on these lines.
Okay. What's the most popular item out of your menu from the customers?
Coriander chicken,
Okay. Yeah, I've tried it out.
undoubtedly.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Do you think customer preferences change? I mean, you talked about consistency also
Yes,
sometime back,
yes.
maintaining the food consistency and all. So, do you think improving the taste is good or maintaining the same standard over a period of time? Do you think customer generally preferences change or they remain stagnant?
So customers, even again, with respect to diversity of customers, also customers also look for their go-to taste and
Mhm,
also would try few new dishes.
mhm.
It's not like, every customer wants to try a new dish, whatever we have.
Correct.
It's like they would be trying, they say, for example, coriander chicken.
Mhm,
Anyone comes on the table, he would first order paya chorba and then coriander chicken.
mhm.
This is a non-vegetarian. Gongura paneer pockets is a vegetarian. This is standard order.
Okay.
Then you look into the new dishes.
Mhm,
So new dishes is something that helps us in customer retention
mhm,
whenever we go. So because that is a new taste what he hadn't experienced before.
mhm.
And if he really likes it, then obviously we'll go on the menu and that will become a hit item.
Okay, okay.
So yes, changing the menu
Mhm,
has helped us out innovating and
mhm,
coming with new dishes
mhm.
helped us a lot in retention. Because right now our popular dishes, say like 7 or 8 of our popular dishes on this day,
Mhm.
hardly only 2 were or 3 were in the beginning
Okay,
when we opened the restaurant.
okay.
Rest 5 have evolved as we kept on innovating.
Oh,
So that itself tells
yeah,
how much importance the innovation plays a role.
yeah. I mean,
And as you said, uh, as customers' preferences also. So we are also in the process of continuous learning.
mhm,
So based on what is hit, say for example, coriander chicken is a very big hit item. Then
mhm,
we realize this customer is looking for something very yummy,
mhm,
which has like which has which can where he can feel the burst of flavors and which is not spicier side, not bland as well, and he would feel so many flavors
mhm,
inside that steak in a bag.
mhm.
I would categorize under it the yummy one.
Okay, okay,
There is a spicy one. There is a yummier one.
okay. Mhm. So just casually, I mean, how many coriander chickens might have served from
Till
AnTeRa?
now,
Yeah.
sort of 3 branches put together on average, Swiggy and dining with the 800, matlab 800, nearly 80,000, I would say.
Oh, that's a
Whatever I
lot.
put on paper.
That's a lot.
80,000 right from in the last 3 years. In the
Oh.
last 1 year alone, I would put it at 40,000.
Mm-hmm,
In the
mm-hmm.
first 2 years, as we had only one branch,
Okay, okay.
40,000 there.
Mm-hmm. And if I'm ask you, what is your promotion strategy and what do you think it's worked for you?
So initially, at the
Mm-hmm,
time of opening,
mm-hmm.
so the thing that worked out for me is Blitzkrieg under matlab. So we captured the media. We called the TV media.
Okay.
We had ad hoardings.
Mm-hmm,
We were active on Instagram.
mm-hmm,
So we also did a SMS shootout,
mm-hmm,
and yeah. So having all the channels, and
mm-hmm.
we also call the food bloggers.
Okay.
So right in the time of opening in 2021, the food blogger scene was not so high as it is now.
Mm-hmm.
So then that food blogger calling all the food bloggers, that helps us get a very huge reach on Instagram.
Okay.
And another thing, our cocktail menus, as I mentioned before. So all these things, our name as well. To be honest, our name has helped us a lot,
Mm-hmm,
because I've seen many of my friends calling me
mm-hmm,
and telling me who are in the IT sector.
mm-hmm.
అరే ఇప్పుడే ఐ మీన్ అరే ఇప్పుడే ఎవరు అడుగుతున్నారు అంతేరా ఫుల్ ఫామ్ ఏంది అని. So I'm laughing at them and telling them it's Andhra, Telangana, Rayalaseema.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Even
that has become, yeah.
yeah, even for the first time that I met you, I asked you
Yes.
what does it mean and
Yeah,
all.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So that Andhra, Telangana, Rayalaseema, that went really, really well
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
with the customers. And
mm-hmm.
yes, that has become sort of a talking, I mean, major talking point or talk of the town as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. So what is digital marketing according to you? I mean, how do you think a new restaurant, because you've been launching new restaurants also. So according to you, what should an ideal restaurant should do to market it?
In today's date, Instagram, you cannot be. I mean, if at all you are a restaurant or anything, any into F&B, I think Instagram is the most critical one.
Mm-hmm.
Given given the way the platform as a platform is content driven.
Mm.
So the better you have the content and you have the right targeting,
Mm.
when you know how to target the right audience,
Mm.
I think Instagram is the right platform to be there.
Okay.
And if you this a good amount of success depends on how well you can market yourself well and how can you reach out to the right audience using Instagram. Because WhatsApp as a medium is is appealing to many, but I think if you just send randomly to your non-customers,
Yeah.
so you are very at a high chance of getting blocked.
Yeah. You're spamming them
You're
unnecessarily.
spamming them.
Yeah.
And these days, WhatsApp, no one wants to, already SMS is something has become uh, redundant these days.
Correct.
Yeah. So if at all that keeps happening on WhatsApp as well, as a customer, even if a customer likes you, just because you're spamming on WhatsApp, there's a chance that he might dislike you.
Yeah. You could do more damage than good for your
Yes,
brand.
yes, exactly. WhatsApp you should keep for only transactional purpose.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Initially, we thought we could use WhatsApp because we have good content, video content, and WhatsApp as SMS you cannot push the video content.
Yeah. Yeah.
On WhatsApp, you can easily push the video content.
Mm-hmm.
But we realized that there's a good chance of getting blocked.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think you can actually use WhatsApp for actually sending messages in terms of
True.
discounting or
Exactly.
any new menu launches
Yes.
or a pre-plated something like
People or even for that matter, greetings as well.
that.
So how I would put it is, above 40 years, they wouldn't mind getting the message on WhatsApp.
Mm-hmm.
Be it my father's generation or at least 10 years who are 10 years elder to
Mhm.
me, they don't mind being spammed on WhatsApp.
Correct.
In fact, they enjoy it.
Mhm.
Because for them, WhatsApp has become a medium where they keep looking at all the forwards.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so segregating the population, segregating our customers based on the age group and probably targeting an elderly age group through WhatsApp and a younger age group, anyways, we are doing it through Instagram.
Mhm.
I think this is a good combination, I would feel.
Okay. You mentioned a lot about Instagram.
Yes.
So, I mean, Instagram is already overcrowded with a lot of content.
True.
And you have a lot of venues who are serving the same cuisine as yours.
Right.
So, if you have to give an advice to anyone, how do you differentiate your brand from other competitors, be it be online or offline, or how do you create that brand positioning?
So for one thing, as AnTeRa, what we were to establish is the customer connect.
Mhm.
Given that has come from the name,
Mhm.
that has come from a widespread. So we were able to extend this connect through using Instagram.
Mhm.
So we were able to roll out the videos on making the customer see the behind the scenes.
Okay.
Say in one of our videos we have shown behind the scenes.
Mhm.
One of our videos started explaining the dish,
Mhm.
how the name actually originated, what
Okay.
is the origin of the dish.
Okay. Okay.
So, and in one of the videos, again, we started promoting how the name has come up
Mhm.
of a particular dish
Okay.
by a particular name.
Mhm. Mhm.
So, all these things. So, it's not just randomly about, just taking the videos and having a good content.
Mhm.
You need to have a content where the customer gets also attached to.
Mhm.
The one aspect is about showing a dish in a more very eye-pleasing way, in a very attractive way.
Mhm.
Other is about establishing the connect.
Okay.
For a very long time, I think most of the videos I've seen on Instagram were more on content driven, just showing the video,
Mhm.
not having it with a background score and the video. That's it.
Mhm.
So when you talk, when you tell about the dish, I think people tend to connect to the dish
Mhm.
a lot that
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
And this is how I think we were able to stand out from the rest
Mhm.
using all these things.
Yeah. And let's dig into the operation side of it.
Yes.
I mean, I know you are from a technology background, and then
Yes.
you got into food. So, how important for you is technology get into these operations?
So for anyone, I think who has been already been in F&B, they might know that because before getting into F&B, I
Mhm.
never thought this will be operation so challenging.
Mhm. Mhm.
Once I got into F&B, I realized so this is like too many challenges.
Yeah.
And being a techie, realized that my mind always thought, how can I solve this problem through using technology?
Okay. Okay.
We are not using like very sophisticated technology, but basic Excel or
Mhm.
the PO systems. How do you integrate the data? How do you ensure that we are using the data in the right way?
Okay. Okay.
Because paid puja has certain amount of data,
Mhm.
and but you cannot have your own dashboards.
Mhm.
For that, you need to download. You need to put it in Excel, and again have your own formats or reporting, which you think are appropriate for you to run the business.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
So this way, I think we were able to solve 30 to 40% of the issues.
Mhm. Mhm.
For example, with respect to costing wise, or with respect to customer feedback wise, or with respect to number of calls, IVR calls that we are getting, number of
Mhm.
reservations that we are getting.
Mhm.
We have a WhatsApp group,
Mhm.
and also how many captains, the performance of the each and every captain.
Mhm.
So we are able to at least arrive at the reports that were helping us in administering the place better.
Mhm. Mhm. So, what is your normal day look like? I mean, if you have to talk about a day-to-day activities, how does your normal day function?
So in FNB, day starts late until unless someone is into tiffins or anything,
Mhm.
because your place opens at 12.
Correct.
So it's okay if you are at your place by 11:30 or 12. That's
Mhm.
good enough
Mhm.
for you to get there.
Yeah.
So, but it ends late as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, daily probably getting up at 8 or 9, doing all your regular activities, have your routine.
Mhm.
11 o'clock, you start your day. You
Mhm.
keep getting the phone calls. You prep for the day. You would ensure that everything is in place.
Mhm.
Call your manager, or if it's a Sunday, you would ensure that everything is in place. All the items are, on Sundays, we generally ask everyone to come half an hour early because they have to prep a lot.
Mhm.
So just calling the managers and ensuring that everything is in place
Mhm.
for Sunday. All the operations are, sorted.
Mhm.
Uh, I think yes. And as we go on, weekly 2 times we have the meeting. We have regular meetings.
Mhm.
One time with the managers and one time with the chefs.
Mhm.
So all the meetings we try to ensure that we have all the reports in front rather than just going because if at all the meetings are not structured,
Mhm.
and again I strongly believe that it doesn't get into translation.
Mhm.
Something for you to see the outcomes, uh, things have to be very structured.
Correct.
So we have minutes of meeting. In the minutes of meeting, we generally discuss what was discussed in the last meeting.
Mhm.
In the last meeting itself, everyone, if at all there is some task. So for every task, the task is assigned to a certain person.
Mhm.
So we'll review whether all the tasks assigned are done or not.
Mhm.
And then based on that, again the new issues that we faced in the last week,
Mhm.
we'll discuss on them.
Mhm.
Again, all the responsibilities are assigned to a certain individual
Mhm.
based on their level.
Okay.
And then again we review them in the next week.
Okay. Mhm. And how do you maintain this consistency? Let's assume you mentioned that I've seen that Sundays are peak for
Yes,
you.
yes.
So how do you ensure that your consistency is being maintained even during the peak hours?
One thing is, for few dishes we were able to standardize for
Mhm.
whichever dishes we can standardize. That
Okay.
is one way.
Mhm.
And for other dishes, we have a tasting checklist
Okay.
for other things.
Okay.
So whatever is prepared, like
Mhm.
say for example, the main course is generally pre-prepared.
Okay.
The rice, bagara rice, or few of the dishes, the paya shorba,
Mhm.
the soups, these
Mhm.
are all pre-prepared.
Okay. Okay.
So for all the pre-prepared items, we have a tasting checklist.
Mhm.
So they ensure that we have enough items for the Sunday, and then all these are tasted, and the tastes are in the right way.
So how do you, I mean, you said pre-prepared items, right?
Yes.
So how do you manage the wastage? Wastage is a significant portion of any F&B venue.
Yes.
So how do you ensure that, can you talk more about it?
So one thing I've been doing over the last 2 years is that
Mhm.
has controlled wastage by a lot. There are two aspects to it.
Mhm.
One is ensuring that the kitchen has the right data so that they can
Okay.
plan.
Okay.
So by data I mean, so what we have been doing is we provide them the last 4 weeks data.
Mhm.
Last 4 weeks of each dish. How many
Okay.
portions has it been sold?
Okay.
On a Monday or Tuesday, Wednesday. We club generally Monday, Tuesday together.
Mhm.
On Monday and Tuesday, lunch, what are the average portions?
Okay.
What are the average dinner portions?
Okay.
Same, Wednesday, Thursday again also have a similar sale.
Mhm.
On Wednesday and Thursday, what is the average portions of each
Okay.
item?
Okay.
On Friday, Saturday, again it's a different portions. Friday night, dinner is different. Friday night and Saturday night we'll have the same portions
Okay.
generally.
Mhm.
Friday lunch and Saturday lunch. And
Okay.
then Sunday lunch is that has the highest number of portions being sold.
Mhm.
They have a separate number of figures here as well. So
Okay.
based on all these figures, they tend to prepare.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is it helping you in this venue, or it is across all the venues? Are you taking these learnings and putting this data when you're launching a new restaurant?
That's the beauty about the systems and process. Once you
Okay.
establish at one place,
Mhm.
you can extend it to all the places.
Okay.
So
Is it similar across
yeah,
all the restaurants?
yes, yes.
Okay.
It all are branches, yes.
Yeah. And
And sorry, another point I want to mention here is we also track the wastage part. So every week we tend to we track the wastage. We compare it with the earlier week. Then we drill down. So
Mhm.
what are all the items that are leading to more wastage?
Okay.
So then we, whenever we have a meeting with the chefs, this is one of the major report that we look into.
And is there any wastage at the inventory aspect of it?
Definitely, yes.
Yeah. So how do you counter? I mean, if someone's, you have to give an insight.
See, so there is one is fresh wastage I would call.
Mhm.
Other is the wastage of what the customer eat and the plate that goes there.
Mhm.
So, for example, in the meat, whenever the butcher comes, or even for that matter in chicken, so you have a lot of bone wastage and you also have fat wastage in mutton.
Mhm.
So what we are doing about it is we are directing all this wastage to a nearby dog shelter.
Oh, that's
Wherever
great.
we are.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
great. Yeah.
So probably 2 times in a week they come, they pick up the stuff
Mhm.
and we'll send them.
Yeah.
So we are ensuring that is not going
Yeah.
waste.
Sustainably.
Waste is not going waste. The waste is not going waste.
Mhm.
And secondly, I'm planning to also, because there will be a lot of bone wastage. We have
Mhm.
many leg pieces coming in. We
Mhm.
have chicken wings. There's a lot
Okay.
of bones.
Mhm.
I haven't implemented that,
Mhm.
but the plan is to segregate the bone wastage,
Mhm.
and the rest wastage is something that would anyways go into the garbage.
Okay. Okay.
So once the bone wastage is segregated, planning to again sterilize it
Mhm.
and distribute it to the strays.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So how do you manage your customer feedback? Let's jump into the feedback of it. So
Yes.
you see a lot of data from your dashboards, right?
Right.
So how important is your customer data for you? I mean, do you work on your customer feedback?
Yes. Yes.
Mhm.
And right from day one, we were very keen on ensuring that the feedback is taken very seriously.
Mhm.
And we have always been encouraging to take the feedback.
Mhm.
For that matter, for captains as well.
Okay.
So it's not about the rating that he gets; it's number of feedbacks that he takes.
Mhm.
That is more important for us.
Correct.
So the higher the number of feedback, the better is the sample set, and the more information, direct information that you are getting right from the customer,
Mhm.
the better we can act upon it.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So this feedback loop is something we have taken it very seriously.
Okay.
And we have also very exclusive reports on feedback,
Mhm.
only on feedback.
Mhm.
How many feedbacks we got on Google, how many we got on Zomato,
Mhm.
and also how many we are getting on item level feedback is something very important that we get on Swiggy and Zomato.
Mhm. Mhm.
So we generally take this item level feedback
Okay.
because that will help us. Say, for example, if we get a feedback of say avakai paponam is not so great for lunch,
Mhm.
immediately our chef will look into it. At least he will rectify for the rest of the session.
Mhm.
Customer, you order at say 1 o'clock.
Correct.
You give the feedback at 2.
Mhm.
So then that is all automatically reflected here in the Swiggy app,
Mhm.
partner app, or the Zomato app.
Mhm.
So we generally we alert the chef, and he
Okay.
generally looks into it because that's a direct feedback.
Okay.
On Swiggy and Zomato delivery, the beauty is customer rates you. 80% of the feedback will be only on the taste,
Okay.
not on the experience.
Mm.
Whereas here, too many things matter.
Correct.
Parking, right from parking, reception, how they are received, how they are served.
Okay.
All the things matter here.
Okay. So you're on top of the feedback.
Yes, yes. Very
Real
much.
time.
Very
Okay.
much.
Mhm. So how do you think it's going to actually boost the loyalty? I mean, what percentage of your customers order online versus come here for experience?
I think it both help each other very well.
Mhm.
I'm not sure how others look at it, but I look at, Swiggy helps in dine-in and dine-in helps us in Swiggy.
Mhm.
Always looked at marketing in this good way of, Coca-Cola and Thumbs Up, or
Mhm.
for the matter, the Pepsi and anything.
Mhm.
So because they keep marketing because hunger and thirst are like common emotions for a human being, or going out and having food.
Mhm.
So whenever you want to go out, so you have to be fresh in their memory. How would you ensure that?
Mhm.
Someone comes to dine in,
Mhm.
okay, he might be dining in frequency, might be only 2 or 3 times in a month.
Mhm.
So you might not be fresh in his memory.
Correct.
But so delivery is something that where you still are connected to the customer.
Mhm.
So you are connected to the customer in that way.
Yeah.
When you have your delivery presence and a good delivery presence, and the customer is satisfied there, the same customer when he wants to go out, he'll come here. The same customer, once he wants to have it at home, he'll order from you there. So
What's the percentage of deliveries versus dine-in?
80% dine-in and 20% varies from branch to branch. In Jubilee Hills, it's 85-15.
Okay.
Here in Financial District, it is 75-25%.
So coming back to your food and all, I mean, you give a lot of insight on emphasis on food safety and all of it. So how do you ensure that the hygiene standards and food safety standards are proper in your kitchen? And can you elaborate more on that?
Yeah, hygiene is of highest importance. Because even one small thing that can go, because as I said, there are too many things in the kitchen. Even if one thing goes wrong out of say 20 things, the end product, they might, a customer, you might see a fly or some small mosquito in the insect. Even something goes wrong. Say even if you have these, you have all the wires running in the kitchen.
Correct.
And if they're not covered properly, the flies stick onto the wire.
Okay.
And say for example, a fly dies, suddenly it falls into the dish. And that's a huge thing.
Yeah.
So we ensure that all these things, right, right from the kitchen, the wires are covered, and also we have a third party audits being done for us, so that because our chefs, everyone can get complacent at any given point of time, and in these aspects which are very critical in our customer experience, third party audits have been helping us a lot.
Okay.
In ensuring that we take the right steps. It's not just about the rectification, they also suggest us long-term measures on how do we come across and how do we address these challenges.
Yeah.
Yes.
In terms of food quality also, I mean, sourcing plays a crucial role, right?
Right.
How do you ensure that the quality is paramount for you?
Yeah, again, we have elaborate QCs. So particularly, see, vegetables and the meat. These two attract a lot of attention. They both need a lot of attention. Because meat, based on the way you look at, because based on only an expert can tell whether it's a tender one or not, even before cooking.
Okay.
So we ensure that is checked by 2 people at least whenever you get the meat.
Okay.
So if the meat is not tender, then we generally return it. Same with vegetables. Vegetables, they are like 50% of the vegetables. We need to look into the QC aspect.
Okay.
Because otherwise, again, the end output will be affected.
Exactly. I mean, when you talk about standardization and all, so.
And we have the system of entering the expiry dates into the system.
Okay.
Whatever the FMCG products are, whenever they got, and as usual, we follow the FIFO model as well. First in, first out. So they, as a retail store, also they have these alerts coming in automatically. We also have that alert system coming in automatically, which lets us know about the expiry date.
Okay. And how do you ensure that you're optimizing the operational cost of these? I mean, if you're running a venue, I mean, it has to. I mean, how do you ensure that these costs are minimal and then you have a maximum efficiency at every level?
So one way of looking at it, so one way we go about it is, as we have 3 branches now, 4 branches now. So we have a few vendors for one branch, few vendors for other branch, few vendors serving good there, so few vendors serving good here. So in a way, we have come across so many vendors in the process. That has helped us a lot in optimizing. So for one branch, we might find a really good vendor. So if he's doing really well there, we will ensure that he's with us, he's onboarded for the other 3 branches as well.
Okay.
That is one way where we were able to optimize. And also we have different employees coming in from different places. Each comes with their own best practice. So whenever someone comes, I keep asking them, what are, as you have worked in the earlier place, and right now you're looking at a new place, what are other practices, best practices that we can adopt or implement or execute here? So that way as well, we are able to optimize the costs.
So, and I have one candid question for you. It's about service fee.
Yeah.
See, restaurant thinks that they are eligible for it, and user thinks that the service experience is already included. So, what's the fuss about it? How do you look at this aspect from a restaurant point of view?
Service charge is something very optional. So this is a concept that is, I would say, borrowed from the West, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah, it is not and not a new concept.
Yeah.
That we are doing. In the West, at least it is 14%, at least 14. Here in our restaurant, we charge only 5%, and we clearly mention it in our menu that it is optional.
Okay.
So this 5% service charge generally goes to the employees and their welfare.
Mhm.
So out of this, we cover their insurance as well. We have a group insurance, and that helps us cover them. And if there are any emergencies for the employees, so there is generally 10,000 per month is kept aside for meeting these emergencies.
Okay.
And whenever an employee is in emergency, we tend to cover up from this fund. And also the best employee awards and all these things. So most of the, 100% of our service charge generally goes into employees, compensating the employees
Okay.
and their welfare.
Okay.
Both these aspects. I think whenever someone generally asks us about why do you use, this has been helping us, and we are for to ensure that the customers are also not removing the service charge and giving the service charge.
Yeah. I mean, see, if it's 5%, I don't think there's a fuss about it. But
Yes.
some venues are actually, I mean, you see a lot of spike in that.
Yes, 5% is, 5%. I think most of the customers would feel 5% is not a huge toll on their bill. Yes, still we have 30% customers who would say no, service charge might not be, why the service charge? We won't pay service charge. 70% are, so at least we are glad that 70% are willing to pay the service charge.
So I wanted to ask an industry question where a lot of people think that restaurants, even the fancy ones, which have high pricey restaurants, exploit labor at low cost.
Yes.
So how do you reflect on that?
I always had one mantra that has been helping us. So I take care of the employees. Employees will take care of the customers. I, as an individual, cannot take care of all the customers.
Correct.
So right from there, the accommodation that is being provided, or the kind of salary advances they'll be given whenever they have an emergency or any, for that matter, any kind of a need, and also having group health insurance. And also ensuring that the employees are happy. Like, whenever there's a meeting, we generally ask our general managers and the chefs, the main chefs, is everyone happy? We want to know, because only then the organizational unity can be built, and only when there is an organization built, unity is there. I think you will be able to sustain or maintain a product like this with having that consistency. See, checklist and having are all on the top, but at the bottom is the employee satisfaction.
Correct.
In an industry with almost 140 employees per outlet, for each outlet we have 140 at least employees.
That's a lot, right?
Yes. So I would say F&B industry, in a larger sense, is more of a HR challenge. So coming out with a product in the right location is one, and the second, and the next equal level challenge would be also ensuring that your employees are happy. You are creating a very good work environment for them, because 140 people.
Correct. That's
so
a lot.
If they are happy, automatically the customer would be happy.
Yeah.
As simple as that.
Yeah. So how do you perceive the industry? Is it true? I mean, what's your opinion on that?
Regarding exploitation of labor?
Yeah. I mean, salaries.
That is there. Okay. That is there. I think in good number of places, I would say even minimum wages are also not being paid. I think on current day we have 400 or 420. That should come to at least 12,000 a month. I keep hearing that there are a good number of places which pay at least 10,000 as well. To their employees after 12 hours of work.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not a great thing, because ultimately, eventually, this is something that is run by them.
Exactly.
So only when you take care of them, I think you can have happy faces, and your happy faces, it will translate to happy customers.
Correct.
Because the service itself, the person coming and happily serving you with excitement is one experience, and he serving just for the sake of duty is another experience.
Exactly. Yeah. And one last question for you.
Yes.
In terms of discounting strategy, there are a lot of restaurants which actually give steep discounts to attract customers.
Right.
How much percentage do you think is turning out to actual new acquisition of customers? And what is a percentage of regular customers availing that discount, according to you? Do you think it's really viable and sustainable in the long run?
See, 10%, 15 might be sustainable in the long run, given the margins in this industry.
Okay.
But 20, 25, going beyond 20 is something I wouldn't see it as sustainable.
Okay.
Because generally, if at all we take the EBITDA would be somewhere around, for a very successfully running restaurant, it will be 20, not more than that,
Okay.
for sure. Or 22 would be highest, or the top restaurant in India might be doing 25 at the most.
Okay.
So, so when you're doing 25, then that means you are cutting down on your profit directly.
Yeah.
Another aspect of looking at is you have very high fixed costs. The variable cost is less. So just to meet those, but I think only during the offers, say for example, Great Indian Restaurant Festival, or by Swiggy, Dine Out, or Zomato's Carnival, we are probably that time they are the lean periods. They run these offers during the lean periods.
Okay.
At that time, it might make sense to run that offer for limited inventory. But otherwise, they are not sustainable in the long run.
Okay.
Yeah.
How much is it translating into new acquisition?
Definitely, yes, because again, here I draw parallels to a voting behavior.
Yeah.
Because good number of restaurants offer discount.
Yeah, correct.
So if you're not on discount, even if you're good, the customer might not come to you.
Correct. Yeah.
So at least when you're on platforms, Zomato, on Swiggy, and you say I don't offer any discount, you're in a way losing that customer.
Okay.
You're even though you have very the customer is highly likely to convert to you. Just because you're not giving discount, you're losing him.
Okay.
So that's the reason I would say 10% is definitely healthy.
Okay.
It doesn't hit us anywhere. That is something we can aramse take. Or for that matter, any F&B can take 10% discount. I don't think that should be a very big problem. But going beyond 20 is something we should not be doing in the long run. It's only during the offer periods or the lean periods.
Yeah. And I think it should be more of a rewarding the loyalty of customer.
Yes.
And then building direct connections with them.
Yes.
Yeah.
And as Indians, we have discount mentality.
Yeah, exactly.
The discount is something, or bargain discount is something we cannot take it out of our minds. That has been coming with us.
Yeah. So, and before we wrap up, I want to understand what is the advice that you give to the new restaurant owners if they are actually in the startup stage, where they're contemplating of creating something or coming into the F&B business. What is one advice that you want to give it to them?
So this is a very attractive industry to come in, because on the outside it looks very enticing for someone to come. Not a huge capital barrier. So you can even set up a cloud kitchen below 1 CR on today's date. And it's very good for everyone to say that I have a restaurant. I own a restaurant is something, it's a very proud moment to say. And hit or success or failure, you would see it in 3 or 4 months only. It doesn't take like 2 or 3 years like real estate for a brand to build. You can build a brand in 2 to 3 years, and you can see the success in 2 to 3 months.
Okay.
So it's very enticing that way. But what the new people don't see coming their way is the operational challenges that they face. It's more about how do you sustain, how do you resolve those operational challenges, ensure that the product that you imagine on the right day one is still continuing, is being maintained. And yes, and as I said, as we have been talking about, how do you solve the employees challenge? It's a HR challenge. How do you ensure that you recruit the best, give the right environment, and ensure they are performing to their best.
Okay. So when you're building a brand, especially this restaurant, are you building it for a short span of time, or are you building it for lifetime? What is the aim that you should actually look at when you're building a restaurant, something like this?
Definitely. See, the brand building process is something we feel that it helps us in the long run, like for lifetime. If it goes for lifetime, nothing like that.
Yeah.
But F&B, hardly there are any brands which have gone for lifetime.
Correct.
Very few brands.
Yeah.
Especially in India. Because a lot of standardization for Indian products, standardization is a very difficult task. Haldiram's, they have the products which they were able to standardize. Haldiram's or Karachi. But for a restaurant like us, to be able to standardize all the dishes is not a small task. It takes a lot of time, takes a lot of innovation with respect to food technology as well. We coming up with new food technology. Probably then I think, yes, definitely this brand, we hope that, this brand continues for 20, 30 years and even more.
Yeah, let's hope so. Yeah, and we'll call it a wrap. Harish,
Sure,
thank you
sure,
so much
Rajesh.
for joining us here.
Very glad.
Yeah.
Very glad to be here.
Yeah.
Thanks, Rajesh.
It was a very
for
insightful
inviting.
session. Yeah.